Jeremy's mic and we will get class started. Jeremy, your mic is open. Enjoy your class, everyone.
Good evening, yogis. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I thought about the day and said the right day. Yes. Welcome to class tonight. If you have any requests, let me know. You can put a note in the chat and then Steph will send that to me. And I can fold that into practice. We'll do a little bit of core work to begin and then do our vigorous practice. Let's begin in a seated position. Oh, one note. We'll use a strap toward the end of class. So if you have a belt or some other, even a towel rolled up long way or a belt will work really well for a strap toward the end of practice. Let's find a comfortable seat. And if you'd like to sit on a block, you're welcome to. A block or a pillow can give your hips some height. Otherwise, you can sit cross-legged or legs folded underneath you on the floor. When you find your seat, take a moment to elongate the spine, sending energy up the spine. And let's do a cleansing breath. 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a big sigh. Again, inhale. Biggest, fullest exhale yet. Empty all the air from the lungs. Now come into Ujjayi breath. In and out through the nose. Long, slow breath rhythms. Beginning to hone your mental energy, focusing the energy of your mind on the rhythm of your breath. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing, that's the valve in the back of your throat that helps slow the airflow in and out. It makes your breath audible. You're welcome to use Ujjayi breath, or you can have a natural breath, but observe your breath rhythm and try to keep your mind focused on the rhythm of your breath, letting go of distracting thoughts. Beginning a habit of focusing the mental energy inward. As we sit here in our opening pranayama today, I'd like to offer some words to consider. I'm noticing in my own daily life there's a lot of energy given to anxiety, or the anxious energy to move because of the bound state, bound to the house, locked down. And so that anxiety manifests as pent-up energy, or if it's the anxiety of worry, it's in the mind doing a similar, almost feels like frenetic vibration, not going anywhere, not releasing. What I may invite you to do today is notice if you have that sort of energy in your body, mind, or spirit. A frenetic energy that feels tightly bound and maybe really vibrant but with no place to go. Just identify that energy if it's there. And what I've been working to practice in my own daily life is redirecting that energy to something meaningful or useful. As we're going into a physical practice, I invite you to redirect that energy into the pelvis as the source of your physical fire. The fire for digestion, the fire for physical work. This is our core. So if you feel any physical frustration from being pent up for the week, just notice if you can move that energy into the pelvis. Maybe you notice that energy is pent up in the mind. With the breath, send that pent up mental energy into the pelvis. And you might feel similar restriction in your spiritual energy. In your last couple breaths here, just allow your energy to refocus inward to a constructive place where we can use it in our physical practice. 3 more breaths in and out. When you finish your 3rd exhale, let's transition to our back. On your back, place your feet on the floor with your knees up toward the sky. Pause for a moment. Let your hips be heavy, ribs heavy, head heavy. We'll begin with rhythmic movement of the pelvis, lifting and lowering with the breath. Press your feet into the floor. Inhale, lift your hips, sliding the knees forward. Exhale, lower hips back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Continue this movement on your own breath rhythm. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Shoulders remain wide as the hips lift and lower. Big toes are pressing down into the floor equally. Sometimes the weight might shift to the outer edges of the feet. One more cycle, lifting up and exhaling lower down. Bring your knees into your chest. Move your femurs forward and back like levers. And in and out like pages of a book. Hold the knees. Inhale, exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. So you're rounded into this tight little ball. From here, we'll stretch. Inhale, reach your fingers away from toes, stretching from the navel outward. Exhale, gather, hug it in. Moving from the navel, inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Continue at your own pace. Inhaling out, exhaling in. 2 more. Last one. Release your head, neck, and shoulders. Keep your right knee, extend the left heel on the floor. Allow the femur to fold in toward the chest. Remain mindful of your breath. After your exhale, change legs. After your next exhale, bring both knees into your chest. Arms out to a T. Oh, pause. Before we do that, one more. We're doing a warm-up in side plank before we do our last on the back warm-up. Come on to your elbows. And for support, you can keep the knees bent here. We're lifting and lowering our hips. Very small movement to engage our obliques. Pressing down, and to challenge, you can take the legs long. Pressing down into your elbow, lift your hips up, squeezing your inner thighs, and lower. We're just doing that 5 times. Lift and lower, moving the bottom of your spine up in line with your nose and down. 2 more, up, shoulders are squared to the front of your space. 1 more, up, and lower. Roll around to your other side. I'll show you from the back side. Not that it's any better of a view. You're pressing down into your elbow. The knees can be bent or the legs can be straight. Engaging the bottom side oblique. Lift the hips up and lower. Lift up, pressing down through the elbow, lower. The pubic bone or tailbone lines up with the nose or the back of your head and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. Shoulders and hips square to the front. Lift and lower. Excellent. Return to your back. So in the sequence of things in our primary development, the spine first moves in flexion, then moves laterally to the side, and lastly rotates. Take your knees to 90 degrees. For a challenge, you can extend the legs long, though this is the beginning of class. I would encourage 90-degree knees. Squeeze your inner thighs together, keeping your shoulders on the floor. Rotate your knees to the right. Inhale, come back to that 90-degree vertical femur, and to the left with both knees. Back to vertical. Exhaling, knees to the side. Inhale, back to vertical. Exhale, knees to the side. Squeezing inner thighs and back. One more time, each side. Shoulders are stable. Knees aren't shearing forward and back. They're staying connected. And one more to the second side. And back. Hug your knees. Rocking and rolling forward and back with momentum, or roll to the right side. We're transitioning to tabletop. Find your hands and knees position. Equal weight on 4 limbs. And let's take those spinal movements here. Cat and cow first. Inhaling to extend your spine. Exhaling to flex your spine. Different than on our back, we have more mobility and extension, so you might spend some more time in the extended spine, cow position. And finish one more exhale. We'll return to neutral. Extend your right leg, cross right leg over left, and look to the sides. We'll do the lateral side bend. Breathing into your side ribs, but side bending your spine. One more inhale. Exhale, return. Extend the left leg. Cross left over right, squeeze your inner thighs, and look over your left shoulder. Breathing into the side ribs, but actively bending the spine to the right. And after your exhale, return. Last position for the spine, the twist. Right hand lifts, gaze follows, inhale. Exhale, thread the needle. Ear and shoulder come to the floor. Your opposite hand can extend forward or wrap behind the back. Yogi's choice. Find your breath. Long breath rhythms. Mind is content, just observing the breath. Redirecting any unnecessary energy toward your practice. Enjoy one more exhale. Use the inhale to come back to tabletop. Let's thread the needle on the second side. Left hand lifts, gaze follows. Exhale, thread. Ear and shoulder come to the floor. Opposite hand can extend forward or wrap behind the back, yogi's choice. Continue breathing mindfully. One more inhale, yogis. And an exhale. Use your next inhale to bring you back to tabletop. And child's pose. Hips low, forehead close to the floor. Breathing into your back space, grounding the body. As we move into the rigor of our practice, I invite you to keep child's pose in your back pocket as an option whenever you need it. If the arms become fatigued, or if you start to lose or sacrifice form in any way, come back to child's pose or make modifications you need. Let's come into downward dog. Tabletop, set up your hands, most of the weight on the index knuckle, arms rotating externally or laterally, so you feel that tricep rotating forward. When you're in downward dog, you experience the same thing with the arms, the rotational energy of the arms. You can pedal through the feet. Breathing as you move through the joints of the lower unit, stretching the toes, stretching ankles, knees, and hips. Then come to dynamic stillness. It's dynamic because the energy of the muscles is improving with every breath. You're finding more rotation in the arms. The legs also rotate. The inner thighs rotate backwards toward the wall behind you, opening up the hips. The heels still stay parallel to one another, even with that rotational energy in the muscles. So it's dynamic stillness is work that you can feel but I can't see. Obviously, I'm not in the same room. But if we were, it's movement you can feel but I can't see. One more breath in. Walk your feet to your hands. Stand at the top of the mat, knees bent, option to interlace arms as you drape the spine over your legs. Take time to unfurl your spine. Before you do so, bend your knees, engage your glutes. They're a point of stability so the spine can stack one vertebrae at a time as you breathe. Slowly arriving to standing. In your standing pose, take a breath, yogis. Let's begin. Sun Salutation A. We'll move slowly through the first iteration. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Knees can bend as you hinge from the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower. Plant the hands and step to plank. Pause for just a breath. Then lower knees to the floor. We're actually going to move between plank and table a few times. So whether you're using your knees or not, do come to knees. Establish the stability of your spine. And exhale, lift the knees. Lower them down just a touch. Nothing in the spine moves. They touch just barely and then they lift. Knees touch the spine, stays perfectly stable, dynamically still, and knees lift. And one more time, knees to the floor, and they stay. Look forward, shift weight forward. Inhale, exhale, chest and hips to the floor. On the floor, roll your shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift, using the squeeze of your back muscles to extend the spine. Exhale, lower. Let's do that twice more. Squeeze the back muscles. Think of the back ribs pulling your body up. Exhale, lower. And one more. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Now the hips and shoulders raise at the same pace. Inhale, exhale, downward dog. Coming into downward dog, think of the spiraling energy in the arms and a spiraling energy in the legs. Breath rhythm. After your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Stand at the top of the mat. Knees bent. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, lower. Bend your knees, sweep up to standing. Hands to the heart. Take a recovery breath, standing. Round 2, single breath movement. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, high plank. We'll do an extra breath here. Optional knees. So here's where you can employ that extra breath. Inhale, shift forward, knees or no. Exhale, low plank. Chaturanga. Cobra, this might be 3/4 cobra, not quite fully realized. And exhale, lower and or move right to downward dog. So you can go from up cobra to downward dog or lower before you come to downward dog. Yogi's choice, but let's take 2 more breaths in downward dog. Another inhale. Step or hop your feet to your hands. Landing lightly. Inhale once you arrive. Exhale, lower. Drop your tail. Come up to standing. Hands to the heart. Take a breath. Round 3. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive. Half lift. High to low plank on your own time. Cobra as you're ready. And downward dog as you're ready. Taking time here to catch up and finding dynamic stillness. Another breath in. And a breath out. Look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Half lift when you arrive. Exhale, lower. Little bend to the knees as you come to standing with an inhale. Hands return to the heart. Recovery breath. Before we go into our next round, take your strap, a belt if you have it, hold it between the thumb and the palm. A little shoulder opening. Draw the strap or belt taut. Inhale, take the arms overhead, and I discovered as soon as I got overhead I needed to widen my grip so I can lower my shoulders down behind me. My belt is just barely long enough for how tight my shoulders are. Inhale as the arms raise. Exhale as they lower. Whew, that back space is difficult. Inhale as they raise. Exhale as they lower. You can do this without the belt as well. You can get a similar sensation through the shoulders by making fists with your thumb up. Arms go up above head. And when you're above head, try to squeeze the arms at the top. And as I did a bad example there. I let my ribs go. Keep the ribs in. Just squeeze the arms so the upper traps are very engaged. And then open the hands. The arms rotate so the thumbs finish by your hips. Hands turned in. And then you change to do it again. Thumbs up. Rotate and back. So whichever variation you're doing with the strap or belt, up and over, or with isometric resistance. One more. Let's go into Sun Salutation B. Top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, chair, creasing in your hips, sitting low. Arms sweep up. Now here, that same sensation can apply if you're doing that arm circle without the belt. When the arms lift, squeeze the upper traps, the space right behind your neck, and avoid the ribs moving forward. Just move the humerus back. Try to isolate that sensation. One more breath in. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift on your inhale. And Vinyasa. If you choose, you can skip this step and just go plank to dog. Breathe in and breathe out. From downward dog, right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, dome your spine, shift your weight over the arms. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, knee to right armpit. Inhale, extend. Knee to left armpit. One more time, extend. Step your right foot through. Bend the back knee, untuck the toe, and bring your torso up. This first time through, we'll go slow, pausing in each pose to give you a moment to establish the pose, clarify your alignment, both physically and energetically, and then find dynamic stillness within the pose, so this energy flow within the posture. Another breath in. And a breath out. Hands come to the earth. Tuck the back toe and rock your, plank dog. Forgot where we were. High plank, exhale, downward dog. Inhale. And exhale. Left side, inhale the left leg. Keep the hips square to the floor. Exhale, knee to nose. Shift your weight forward. Inhale, extend. Knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. Knee to right elbow. Last time, extend. Step your left foot through. Lower the back knee down, untuck toe, bring torso up. Micro adjustments as you need. Add the arms when you're ready. Clarifying and reorganizing the energy in your body. You have an option to extend the spine here. It's a little balance challenge. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to earth. Reach forward. Step forward. Top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower. Chair. Hips low. Bring your torso up. And stand up Tadasana. Breath in. And breath out. Round two, just a little more vigorous in pace. Start with an inhale. Exhale, chair. 3 breaths. How can you refocus and redirect the energy in your body to be productive? Or maybe it's a refocus of your mental energy. One last breath in. And breath out, fold. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, Vinyasa, high to low. Or skip it, plank to dog. In downward dog, breathe in and breathe out, big toes together. Right leg lifts. Knee to nose. Inhale, kick back. Right armpit. You can skip this and go right to the lunge. Left armpit. One more time, extend and step it through to a high lunge or low lunge. Body comes up, and you can bring the torso up or singularly or with the arms. Find stability in your legs as your arms fly toward the sky. Another breath in. Plank dog. Inhale. Exhale, big toes together. Left leg lifts with the breath. Knee to nose. Inhale, kick back. Left armpit. Knee to nose. Right armpit. Knee to nose. And through. High or low lunge. Stabilize through the pelvis, then add arms. Or perhaps the arms came up immediately with the torso. One more breath in. And a breath out, hands to earth. Back foot comes forward to meet the front, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower. Bend your knees, chair. And stand up, Tadasana. And breath in. And breath out. One more time through that sequence today. Start with an inhale. Chair. One breath. Exhale, dive. Half lift. Chaturanga. Downward dog. Inhale your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Just one time. Inhale, kick back. Step it through to a lunge. One breath up, one breath down. Plank dog. Left leg lifts. Knee to nose one time. Inhale, kick back. Step it through. One breath up. One breath down. Plank dog. Exhale, travel to top of the mat. Half lift. Lower. Hips down for chair, one breath. And stand up, Tadasana. Breathe. Our warrior series. Begin with your right foot, step back into warrior two. So just take a big generous step back in space into your warrior two legs. So both hips, both femurs are rotating counterclockwise in the socket. Both arms are strong, extended forward and back. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keep the hips low. Reach the left arm up to the sky. Stay there for another inhale. Exhale back to warrior two. A little variation for something I normally offer. Pivot onto the back of your, or the heel of your back foot. Bring your hands together at the center of your heart and sit low into Skandasana. So you go from a warrior two leg where the hip is internally rotated to an externally rotated leg. This one's also rotated. Careful that knee doesn't start to go in. The knee is going directly over your toe as your hips go back in space to lower down. Now for support, the hands can be on the floor or the hands can be at the heart. Come back up and back to warrior two. So you lift up, pivot onto the ball of your foot and into warrior two again. Inhale and exhale, side angle. Reaching down to the ankle with your left hand, up to the sky with the right. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale back to warrior two. Now this transition can be tricky. Take 1 or 2 steps to your left foot, standing up tall. Whee! Breathe in and breathe out. Stand, both feet on the floor. Let's do the second side. Inhale and exhale, step your left foot back. Wide stance, and as you set it up, your hips are rotating clockwise. Energy through the arms. Breathe in. And breathe out. Hips stay low. Sweep your right arm up to the sky. Another inhale. Exhale back to warrior two, preparing that skandasana transition. You pivot on the ball of your back foot. How did I do that? I did it to the same foot. Pivot on the ball of the back foot and come to the right heel. There we go. Then you come back up, pivoting the ball of the back foot, and lunge into the right hip again. Side angle. Right hand down, left hand up to the sky. Breathe in and breathe out. Back to warrior two. Now you're coming to the right leg, standing on it. Stands tall as you swing the left leg up. You press down through the standing right leg and then release. Good, let's do that sequence again. We'll add on to the end of it. Actually, let's start it by lifting the right leg, inhale, and stepping the foot back to warrior two. Left hand up to the sky, inhale. Exhale back to warrior two. Pivot and sit low. Back to warrior two, re-pivot. Side angle. And change. Look forward, stand tall. If you swing the right leg and arm together, you have a little mechanical advantage. Right hand comes to the knee. I'm just turning so you can see me. Breathe in. And breathe out, open the femur. We're doing this again, so the second time, if you want to do it with straight leg, you can. Stand tall through the standing leg. Your hips are perfectly level to the floor. There we go. Option to extend the arm and gaze, breathe in. And breathe out. Releasing foot and hand, the leg comes back to center and lower the leg down, second side. Left leg lifts, inhale. Step it back to warrior two. Boom. Reach your right hand up. Back to warrior two. Pivot on your back foot and sit low. Still rotating that front hip. It hasn't changed. And then come back up. It's your back hip that changes. Side angle. One more time, warrior two. Prepare to stand on the right foot, swinging left arm and leg together. Hand comes to the knee. Stand up tall. And when I say stand up, I mean press down through the standing leg and then move the femur to the side. Hand can extend, gaze can extend. Another breath in. And a breath out, close like a book. Let's do our warrior series one more time, adding one last posture to the end, the twist. Right hand or right foot lifts. Warrior two. Left arm up to the sky, inhale. Back to warrior two. Skandasana. Back to Virabhadrasana. Side angle. Back to warrior two. Akapada, one leg. Hand to knee. Option to go for the big toe if that's available to you. Inhale and exhale, open the leg. Now redirect the energy to the body to the efficient place in the pelvis, your point of stability. Breath in and breath out, close like a book, adding the twist. Breathe in and breathe out, rotate the rib cage. Try to lead with the whole ribs, not the shoulder. Another inhale. Exhale back to center, release your right leg, second side. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step it back. Right hand up to sky. Warrior two. Skandasana, up and down on that same hip. Back to warrior two. Side angle. Warrior two. Stepping to the front or back of the mat, depends where you are. Hand to knee or big toe. Inhale and exhale. Stable standing side as you open the working side, the moving, mobile side. That doesn't mean that the standing side isn't working. Inhale and exhale, close like a book. Trade hands, breathe in, and breathe out. Careful that the shoulder doesn't lead, the ribs lead. So it's the spine rotating, not a weird affectation of the shoulders, but a rotation of your spine. One more breath in, and breath out, release. All right, yogis. Let's do a sun salutation, getting us down to the floor. Modified splits. What? Modified. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift on your inhale. Vinyasa, or just plank dog. Meet me in downward dog. I'll do the non-variation non-vinyasa demonstration. From here, inhale and exhale, big toes together. Take your right leg up. You can bend the knee and stack the pelvis this time for a three-legged dog with a twist. And exhale, bring your right foot forward. Lower the back knee down. Now we're going into our half split or full split. Half split, slide your hips back, and you can keep the hips lifted, core engaged, spine long, foot flexed. You can lower down, sitting on the foot, and do this variation of Janu Shirshasana. I'm curious how much I can even demonstrate because my hips are so tight. You can slide into full split, in which maybe with blocks, you extend that leg out, keeping the hips as parallel as you can, and coming into your split. There's muscular energy in your legs, so that front knee tends to be hanging out and passive. Try to draw the quadricep up. Knee doesn't have to be straight, but the energy in your legs is vibrant. That dynamic stillness is the word I was looking for. Breathe in again. And breathe out. From here, let's take a pigeon, crawl forward to your lunge, then walk that foot across the mat, lower the knee and hip toward the floor, maybe moving a block or a pillow under the hip. Breathe in, and breathe out, fold. Draping your spine over the leg, arms can extend forward. We'll be here for a few breaths. I invite you to observe any stuck energy in the body. And for me, it's difficult to describe energy, but sometimes the stuckness of my energy right now in quarantine it feels like a video game character that's vibrating back and forth very quickly. And it lives in various parts of my body depending on where I'm carrying that tension. And it feels sometimes that it has no place to go. And then there are times where that little vibrant ball of frenetic energy lives in my head in the form of anxiety and worry. And sometimes it's the opposite of that frenetic energy. It's in my spirit and it feels like mud has been placed over my spirit. Like I'm under a wet blanket. Whatever you notice in your mental, physical, or spiritual body, just notice it. Don't apply any effort to change it. What I might ask you to do, or invite you to do, is connect to that energy. It is a part of you, it exists in you, but you can connect to it and perhaps it will redirect itself to a more productive purpose. So by noticing it, you're connecting to it. That's the act of connecting it to it. Just noticing, oh, I'm anxious, or oh, my right shoulder is carrying the tension of the thesis statement I didn't see on that last essay I was grading, whatever. One more inhale and exhale, and bring your body up. Take a moment to transition back to your downward dog. We'll take that modified split into pigeon on the other side. Pedal through the feet. Maybe do any counter stretches you need. If you wanted a cycle through Vinyasa, you're welcome to do. Any movement that seems appropriate for you. Move with your breath. Let's do our second side. Left leg lifts. Three-legged dog if you choose for a few breaths. Then bring your left foot forward to a lunge. Long body for a moment, then lower the back knee down and choose your split variation. Maybe just slide your hips back and keep them lifted with a long spine. You can lower the hips down, sitting on your heel. You can slide the left hip forward in your modified split. Hips are squaring. What tends to happen is the hips open towards the long edge of your mat. Try to keep them both hip bones, ASIS, pointing toward the front of the space. Front quadricep is engaged. It can be slack, but we want that dynamic energy through the muscles that are stretching. Gently prepare to come out of whatever version you're in to a lunge and into pigeon. Walk your foot across the mat, lowering the knee, shin, and femur toward floor and blocking the pelvis as needed. Breath in and breath out. When you find your version of pigeon, begin noticing. Sometimes the act of noticing gets confused with the act of judging or evaluating. And we apply a value to the thing we're doing or the thought we're having or the experience we're in. And the value might be as simple as good or bad, pain or pleasure, happiness, unhappiness. But if possible, try to let go of that sense of describing and evaluating the experience of what you notice. I've mentioned it a few times lately in our online sessions, but the act of noticing is a very soft task. It has very light effort. It's been described to me as a feather dusting a crystal glass. And if you can imagine that sense of lightness, that's the scan of your body that's happening. Similarly, if you notice your mind is wandering and wrapped up with thought, and you want to redirect your attention back to the mind, it's not a shove of your attention back to the breath. You notice and redirect. It's that feather's brush of bringing your attention back to the breath. What I find in daily life is I'm in states of anxiety, of physical tension, of spiritual sluggishness, and I don't quite notice the state I'm in. So the first step, really in any endeavor, is noticing. And then from there you can begin to not work to change, but just allow for that energy to become more productive if it's ready to do so. Another breath in, and a breath out. Prepare to come out, moving slowly, doing some intuitive movement, coming out of pigeon, back to downward dog, and breathing as you move. Take a moment in child's pose. Lower your knees to the floor. You can do wide knee child's pose, or you can do closed knee, classic variation. If your knees are closed, child's pose might feel better with hands by heels. If your hands are by your heels, I might invite you to place your hands on your tailbone, your sacrum. That's the base of your spine. And just a little weight of your arms, but mostly the backs of your hands are resting on the sacrum, giving you sensational awareness of that space. You know what? I'd like you to imagine the tail and crown curling equally toward the floor. Then bring your mental energy, your mind's eye, to the left side of your body, noticing the way in which the left side curls. Move your attention to the right side of the body, noticing the way in which the right side curls. And you might notice there's slight differences, even in a forward curl between the right side or left side. If you have a tight hip or a tight shoulder, it can affect spinal flexion. You're not really working to change anything, you're just noticing. You're letting the pose, child's pose, do the work for you, and the effect of gravity pressing down, that's really the work. On your next inhale, bring your body up. Unfurl your legs. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet. Inhale. Exhale, hinge together. Hinge forward. On your next inhale, bring your body up, fold the legs in, and lay down onto the mat, bringing the strap with you on your way. Finish with just a little hip opening work. On your back, take a moment, allow your hips, ribs, and head to become heavy. Then as you're ready, loop your strap around the right foot. Notice your right hip. You can have a soft connection to earth, but try to press the hip downward. You can almost see the energy of my hip change as I press the hip into the floor, creating a firm connection. Breathe in and breathe out. You're welcome to extend the left leg. As much as you're pressing the hip down into the floor, you're kicking your right heel up to the sky. With the strap, you can start to draw your foot toward your face or toward the wall behind you. Keeping the back of your hip connected to the floor. It likes to come off a little bit or maybe shift to the left. Keep the pelvis anchored, move the femur. Keep pressing through the heel so there's active dynamic energy through the leg, quadricep drawing up, down because your leg's upside down. One more breath in and a breath out. As you exhale, bring your left knee into your left hand. Keep the strap in your right hand. Keep both hips pressing into the floor equally. Inhale, separate your femurs. One leg is straight, kicking into the strap. The other knee is bent, supporting the straight leg. You may feel an intense inner thigh experience through the right leg. Keep breathing. Inhale, and as you exhale, bring your femurs back together and unloop the strap. Second side. As you set up your left leg, notice your left hip. The energy of your hip is anchoring downward toward the floor. Continue that downward energy as then you activate upward energy through the heel. That creates a lever in the leg, a very strong place. You can extend the right leg. Keeping the hips heavy, you can draw the femur toward your face. Continue to breathe. Create active dynamic energy through the leg. Another breath in. And a breath out. Bring your right knee into your right hand. And separate your femurs. Breathe. As you exhale, bring the femurs back together and unloop the strap. Child's pose is next, but if you prefer Baddha Konasana, you can take your strap and loop it around both feet and just gently hold your feet with your strap. It's a slightly more relaxing version of Happy Baby. Since we're talking about working with a strap, if your strap's long enough, which mine is not, you can take Happy Baby with your strap looped. Very relaxing, open, and very opening for the hips. Maybe not very relaxing because it's so opening. My strap's not quite long enough to accommodate that. After some time in Happy Baby, begin to prepare for your version of Shavasana. If there's another posture you need before Shavasana, I encourage and invite that. Maybe a back bend if you need some energizing opening, or a inversion. If you are doing a finishing posture on your own, do so mindfully and do it with your breath. And if you want to continue with a few more postures after we end our time together, I always encourage that. Otherwise, if you're ready, make your way to Shavasana. The one thing all yoga teachers can agree on is Shavasana is the most important part of your practice. This opportunity to let a meditative state come to the body and positively impact your mind or affect your mind. So when you arrive in meditation, the mind starts to wander. You can gently notice that wandering and redirect your energy to the breath. We've talked about that noticing. It's a very soft effort. And then, as soft as you brought the attention to the breath, you hold your attention there, very softly. And if you're able to keep your mental energy focused on the breath, a meditative state might arrive to you. It's not something you look for and you find it. You focus on the task of focusing on the mind, and meditation arrives to you. Take some time in Shavasana. Come out as you're ready. Consider how you direct your energy daily, and consider what you notice in your energetic sphere, mind, body, and spirit. Until I see you again, either Friday or next week. Have a great weekend, or great week, excuse me. A mantra to close our practice, and I invite you to join me for Om. Vakrakunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sharvakaryeshu Sarvada. One Om. Bow your head to meet your heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Happy Earth Day. We'll see you all soon.